Welcome
to the
celebrated nightly news of Calaveras County. And we thank you for stopping by again. We really do. We hope you had a good weekend. It was a busy weekend around here, and a very lucky one as well. To start off the top of the news, there was, on paper, it doesn't sound like much. It's only 10-acre fire.
Yes.
But it's where this one was and the circumstances around of how it may have started that have this was, and also that it closed Highway 4 for 4 hours.
It was up in Avery.
Yes, in Avery
area.
There was a multiple ignition fire along Highway 4 between Hathaway Pines and the bottom part of Arnold.
Yes.
And what it was is, it still may be arson. We've talked to countless people today trying to get a straight answer, and obviously it's still under investigation.
Yes.
And that's what they're telling us and sticking to it. But this is one of those things that's kind of a little ways humorous about how rumors and stuff get started, because you would not believe the different stories that we've heard.
Exactly.
We've heard that it was kids throwing firecrackers out of a moving van. CHP was on the look for a tan van, a blue van, a gold van. So basically, and then we also heard
multicolored van.
Yes. Then we also heard that no, it was a catalytic converter, and the people stopped and got out and tried to put it out with their feet, but it got too hot, and then they left.
Okay.
So we've heard variations of the story, and so. In fact, we called Cal Fire just before we went on air and says, okay, just tell us that it wasn't arson. That way you can still work. And they're not saying anything.
No.
Well, and there's other little curious pieces, like we tried to track down the arrest report for that day. And all the other arrest reports are available except for that day. So you can't even, because we're trying to triangulate.
Exactly. You try and figure out what's going on and how it may have worked, and all those little bits are not available.
Not everything's pieced together. But one of the things is we want to say thank you. Thank you to all those who stopped by our site, thepinetree.net, over the weekend. We tried to give you as much information as fast as we could.
Yes.
And in fact, over the weekend, this last weekend, we had, well, I got to still add them up, because well over 250,000 hits this last weekend.
Yes.
And it was, and we will make a few, if you were watching our site, we bent under the traffic a little bit. We'll make a couple changes before the next incident. So we should be able to handle several times the traffic next time around. But this was, you plan for it and you test for it, but it's at some point, just people's curious, because if you're watching from different parts of the county, this man saying, it's just a 10-acre fire. But what this one does in this area is, this is an area to where it could have rolled through a mobile home park, Tanwood Mobile Home Park, could have rolled through structures. This was right in kind of a breadbasket area of where a fire can really, really roll. Exactly. There was the Darby fire that was just down the hill from this. In recent years, so I think there's a lot of people who are understandably paranoid about any fire and ignition in this area. Because we were talking a little bit off the air, because at peak loads during this thing, we were getting 40 to 50 requests a second for pages, and this is from that 1 to 4 o'clock range. But I guess a little bit on the nose, it's 10 acres, no structures lost, and the fire personnel from multiple agencies did a wonderful job of putting this one out.
Yes.
They got it stopped, because it literally.
And like you said, it was multiple ignition points too.
Yeah. So I think
it was up the highway.
It was up the highway. Everybody was paranoid about, okay, was this arson? Is there going to be more? Is there? There was a lot of paranoia, but they did it. Now we won't play too much, but there's a couple little clips here. Let's see. Let's go to. All right, down a little bit. There we go. Okay. Now this first one Now this is if you're familiar with our area, this first clip is just below the Tanwood Mobile Home Park. This is just down and to the west of Tanwood, and we'll just go full screen here.
There we go.
And what you'll see on this one is we're sitting right on Highway 4. And this is, you'll see fire personnel here, and this is where the Tanwood is right there.
Exactly.
Tanwood's probably only 200 or 300 feet back this way. And this is probably 12:40 in the afternoon.
Yes.
The fire was called in at 12:15, so this little upstretch had already burned. And the fire personnel on the scene said they had already tied in above and blocked this from the road coming up. And the guys, they just jumped on this one. It was pretty impressive to watch. Also, you'll see them coming down here, and we'll go along that one bank. And this is coming along, and since this area is actively burning, they kind of wanted us out of the way.
They saw John coming and said, "Move along,
yeah, move along." But this is the bank. This was the bank right below Tanwood before you get down to Avery, and this is a shot back at it coming that way. And it was. They did a great job on that. Let's see, one other little one. And let's see. Oops, just need to go back out. And, all right, let's go back down a little bit, and we'll show you one more. So we had a lot of things we wanted to cover this weekend. For example, we missed Fireman's Fun Day because we were actually
at a fire.
At a fire. And let's see. And this is the other footage that we'll show you. Here we go. Now this is what we showed you was one of the first ignition points, and this will be the second one coming down the road. Now here we go. Now this one is of. Now see, here we are at this shot here. This is actually the Avery Post Office parking lot.
Yes.
Okay, Avery Post Office parking lot. This is the smoke plume where it's down in the Hathaway Pines above Highway 49 there. I mean Highway 4 there. And one of the spots they were worried about really getting away was down in the Hunter Dam Road area. You know, because it.
Well, once you get back there, it's very difficult to stop it.
And you'll see, I think we'll break into some, you'll see some helicopter stops, helicopter tankers and stuff come in. And we'll just let that. And some of this video, if you're watching on the site, we were actually talking to CAL FIRE at the same time while we were actually shooting it. So,
so you see the plume, get some conversation.
Yeah. So this is where they were actually instructing us to post that it was closed between Hathaway Pines and Tipton Station. And Highway 4 was closed for probably at least 3 hours.
Yeah, it was closed for quite a while.
Yeah, and I think that really makes people nervous when they can't trying to figure out whether they can get in, get out, and that kind of stuff.
Well, the only way to get then to Arnold would have been to go over Ebbets Pass. You'd have to come out the back way. Yeah, or down Forest Service roads out And who wants to do that? Yes.
And you'll see this is shots of fire personnel there. Looks pretty hot on both sides. And I guess the interesting thing is a takeaway on this. If you haven't watched many of these fires, it's a very well organized attack. You think it's chaotic, but it's not at all. You can see as personnel arrive on scene, the incident commander sets up. The spotter plane starts circling overhead, guiding in the air traffic. It's an impressive thing, and you can see, all the strike teams when they start arrive, they start regimenting it. And I want to say thank you to all the fire personnel. They did a wonderful job because this is one that was right in the middle, very kind of different but similar to the one in Angels Camp a few weeks ago that was right in the middle of town.
Yes.
Because if this one would have gotten up ahead of steam, it could have rolled through. It could have rolled through lots of populated areas.
Yes.
So thanks, hats off to the fire personnel. Other little. Want me to stop?
No, you can,
okay.
you can
all right.
continue because you do the hard news so well.
One other little thing on today, over this last weekend, or we've heard just report this afternoon. And this is from Clark Broadcasting that there was a fatality on the Maloney's Bridge of an English motorcyclist. That's one there, and that means 4 fatalities just this weekend.
Yes.
There was also on Railroad Flat Road, there was a pickup that got off the road, and there was 3 people that perished in that on Saturday night.
Yes.
So you figure just basically in the last 2-3 days, that's another 4 fatalities.
This year there have been quite a few.
Oh yeah,
in comparison to other years.
There have, and I guess. And we'll go ahead and read the names of the people because the ones that have been released were for the fatality on Railroad Flat Road, and many of you may know these people. It was Joseph P. Keenan. He was 70 years old from Mountain Ranch. Victoria Keenan, she was 61, also from Mountain Ranch, and Shelley R. DeWalt. She was 42 from Marysville. And our thoughts and prayers are to those families. And it was one of those, that's. Too many.
Yes.
Too many.
Absolutely. Too many.
Sorry, too many. Too many on that. So what's going up with Board of Supervisors?
Board of Supervisors. Actually, there's a few little things. It's not as quiet as a lot of the meetings have been in recent weeks. And one of the things actually that they're looking at is hiring incentives for regular county positions.
Right.
And this is a departure for Calaveras County because typically hiring incentives are attached to department head positions, but there are many open positions in the county, and they're actually looking
They needed a couple department heads as well,
yes,
don't they?
Yes, they do.
I guess we should probably touch on that, shouldn't we?
Well, depends on which department heads you're talking about. But
since we broadcast last, there's been a couple changes.
A couple changes.
Yes.
I'll let you touch on that one. But what they're looking at is actually increasing incentives for people coming into the county so that they can actually hire into these county positions. And especially for Planet 3 positions, of which there are 2 available, they're looking at a 12% increase for the salaries for those positions, which, like I said, it is a marked departure for what the county typically does when they're trying to hire into positions. And they're also, in one of their closed sessions, they will be looking into replacing the CAO. Tom Mitchell, as we announced quite a while ago, is moving on, and they are actually looking into how they're going to replace him. And also, this was sort of an interesting one. Let me get to it. And I thought I marked it. District 3 Board Project Fund, $2,000 for the Sierra Nevada Logging Museum.
Oh, wow.
From District 3, Maria Callaway's district, which I thought was...
Was those her discretionary funds?
Those are her discretionary funds, and that's to the Logging Museum.
And that term is used really loosely, because there's a lot of strings that go with those discretionary funds. Huh?
Yes, that's true.
In some ways, they're discretionary in name only, but she can direct where they go to.
Exactly. And also, for behavioral health, on the consent agenda, September 2007 is Recovery Happens Month, saving lives and saving dollars. So that is for behavioral health, something to think about to help those in our community, raise awareness.
A couple things on more on county stuff, on department stuff. One of the things since we broadcast last is Public Works Director Rob Houghton has announced that he is leaving. So and he's leaving effective October 1st. And this, we'll just read you a little bit of this. And one of the things we try to do on the Pine Tree and also here on the news a little bit is we're not going to try to just tell you what happened. In some ways, we'll just post the report or something and let you make up your own mind on it. So we'll read a paragraph or two, and this is directly from Rob Houghton's letter. Let's see. I have notified the Board of Supervisors of my resignation as Public Works Director effective October 1st, 2007. I will be leaving to pursue the next phase of my career as an independent consulting engineer, and with this change, I hope to enjoy more time with my family. As the county begins its search for new Public Works Director, I have offered to make myself available to assist in the transition. Then he went on to state, he has great confidence in the staff that he's leaving behind, and the opportunity. He's been there for 14 years.
Has he been in Public Works for that long?
14 years, and grateful for his opportunity to serve. And if you want to see verbatim what Rob has said, it's right on the honor site. 14
years in Calaveras County? Or just
I'm looking back on my
general?
14 years of county service.
Wow, he doesn't look like he's old enough to have served for 14 years.
Somehow I'm feeling really old.
Yes. Interesting.
But if you hadn't heard that before, Rob Houghton is moving on as Public Works Director.
So there's changes then in Public Works because Tim McSorley went over to the COG.
Yes.
And we have a new Public Works.
And speaking of COG, we had a call today from Tyler Somerset from the COG, and want us to help get out the word on a public meeting that is on the Arnold Livable Plan community, as far as transportation element portion of it. At Independence Hall at 6 p.m. on Wednesday night. So if you're interested in traffic flow in Arnold and also pedestrian walkways, bicycling, that plan, they're having the public meeting on that at 6 p.m. at Independence Hall on Wednesday night.
The Arnold Rural Livable Community-Based Mobility Plan Workshop.
That's a mouthful.
That's what I was looking for, the actual title. That is a mouthful, definitely. Definitely.
And one of the there is one fire release on the Arnold, on the Avery fire, and should we rattle off some of the assets that were used?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Now this was only
this was
only a 10-acre fire, but this gives you an idea of what they threw at it. From Columbia Air Attack, there was tankers 230 and 440, Copter 404. Whoops, hold it. Air Attack 230 and 440 and Copter 404, Tanker 82 and 83. So you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 5 aircraft.
See, that's, then you know they're afraid that it may do something.
San Andreas Battalion Chief 4412, Forester 4409, Engine 4471, Altaville Dozer 442, Engine 4472, Fresno Kings County Unit, Engine 4363, 4373, 4374. They happen to be in the area. Valley Springs Engine 4451. West Point Engine 4453, Sonora Engine 4455, Arnold Engine 4460, 4464, Esperanza Engine 4473, Baseline Hand Crews 1, 2, and 3, Vallecito Hand Crews 1, 2, and 4, Prevention Officer 4422, Strike Team Hand Crew 9140G, Strike Team Engine 9430C, and Academy Engine 5563, and United States Forest Service Dozer 51. And that is just those are just CDF units.
Yes.
Then also we have from the local units, and I know there's a lot of, reason we're covering this a little bit, there's a lot of people in the area that live in that area that really want the names to say thank you to the firefighters. So the local units from Ebbets Pass Fire, Chief 410A, Engine 432, Medical Engine 437, Water Tender 431, Altaville Maloney's Water Tender 224, and for Murphy's Water Tender 241. and that was on a 10-acre fire. That's what they threw at.
But the location was such that it could have gotten out of control.
Yeah, and that kind of, with the assets they threw at it, is kind of indicative of what the potential that they thought that fire may have.
Exactly. The terrain is. I'm actually looking.
Sorry for hogging the mic tonight. I just rattled off a bunch of stuff.
Fine. It's always amazing to me when you actually look at the different pieces of equipment that they do throw at the fires.
Yeah.
And if you've seen any of these fires burning throughout the years, the dozers are always the most interesting to me because they'll go on these hills that are literally like this and start cutting swaths of fire lines. So it's interesting. And they do a great job.
Yes,
and that's what I was trying to pull up, which you just had right there.
Oh, you were? Oh, okay.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, the community plan?
The Calaveras Community Foundation named a new board of directors.
Paul DiBaldo.
From Copperopolis.
Yes, and he's the community, and he sounds like he has a very extensive background.
Yes, absolutely. MBA from Michigan State.
15-year tenure at IBM. Let's see.
Business developer, marketing executive.
DiBaldo and his wife Darlene have 2 grown children and 2 grandchildren. So, and at the end of the statement says the CCF has made a concerted effort to bring a Copperopolis resident onto our board. We are very pleased that Paul has agreed to represent us in the area that has growing in numbers and influence. In the bigger picture, his work with CCF will improve the quality of life throughout Calaveras County.
That's right. That's right. And actually, a Board of Supervisors item, which I did not talk about, is actually attached to the Community Development Agency. And that is, they will be talking about discussions with U.S. Fish and Wildlife to prepare a habitat conservation plan for the county.
As an element of the plan?
I don't know if it's going to be an element. It doesn't have to be an element to be a viable conservation plan, but it will provide a way for people to put their properties into habitat conservation. And there is no mechanism for that in the county at the time.
Really?
Right now, exactly. So
you're looking at selling a house, maybe just put it into the...
conservation.
Conserve and hold
it. Yeah. Exactly. You try and hold it up. Yeah. And that item will be heard at 9:30 by the Board of Supes tomorrow. So.
Well, should we move to a little lighter news?
Let's.
Also going on this weekend was one little bit of video here. Now they had the first annual Bear Valley Adventure Sports Festival up in Bear Valley this weekend.
They did.
And this is pretty cool. Now, if you're familiar with it, this is an outgrowth of what used to be known as the Boulder Bash. And let's see, where'd my mouse go? I hate it when I lose my mouse. Don't you hate it when that happens?
I do.
Those rodents are supposed to stay
all the time. Exactly.
Right where you can find them. You know, they're just supposed to.
It's like Jerry.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. All right. Now, we have Aaron Johnson and Paul Peterson in this little clip here. And what they are... now, these are the guys that if you're into anything but full-blown downhill, these are the guys.
Okay.
Hosted the first annual Bear Valley Adventure Sports Festival this Saturday and Sunday. They kind of talked about Paul and I a way to blend kind of all the really fun, or a good portion of the fun things you can do up here at Bear Valley. So we decided to put together what we're kind of calling a celebration of human-powered recreation. Based around rock climbing, road cycling, mountain biking, and flatwater kayaking. So this morning we sent out a handful of riders on a century ride.
So did you participate in any of that?
I took the shuttle, as we discussed last week.
You were out there doing the kayaking, the downhill.
And we're starting to run out a little bit of time on our segment, but basically it's a really nice interview with Aaron and Paul. And this is and they hope they will make this an annual event.
Yeah.
And it will be a nice one. So
definitely.
So if you're into anything but downhill, these are the guys. And Aaron, by background, is a world-class rock climber. He teaches a lot of seminars on rock climbing. And Paul is a world-class, and I think did he make it to the Olympics or Olympic trials or something in cross-country skiing? I know that if you're for cross-country skiing and Paul, I guess he's famous. He'll just
Yes,
and is an endurance athlete. Tonight's a busy night. We've got to go to weather because there's more stuff that we're not going to get to tonight.
We've got weather.
But we'll be back tomorrow.
That's right. You can tune in tomorrow at 5:30, or watch us on thepinetree.net later tonight, or 10 o'clock tonight too.
There you go.
Okay. Arnold weather. It's going to be warm this week, actually. Tuesday, 91 degrees, mostly sunny. Wednesday, 93 degrees. And Thursday, 93 degrees. That's in Arnold. Bear Valley, it's a little cooler. Slight chance of thunderstorms tonight with a low of 55 degrees. Tuesday, 82 degrees. Wednesday, 80 degrees. And Thursday, 80 degrees.
Murphy's is we'll play with our little graphic here on this one if we have time. We probably don't. But I'll try to find it. It is going to be hot, 96 degrees. It is, let's see here.
Wednesday, 96 degrees, and Thursday, 97 degrees. You play with that, and I'll.
Okay.
It's not so hot in Angels Camp, actually. Tuesday, 95 degrees. Wednesday, 94 degrees. And Thursday, 95 degrees.
Wow. So this one, it's that same little inversion thing, huh, where Murphy's is actually
hotter.
There we go. Well, anyway, if you see those little emblems there, that's what we're trying to show you. Right there in the center there, these are our little suns, where when it gets really warm, it makes you want to squint and look at the screen. It's like, ow, oh, I'm burning, I'm burning.
Copperopolis, Tuesday, 97 degrees. Wednesday, 98 degrees. And Thursday, a cool 100 degrees.
Ooh.
And I'll look up Valley Springs, and you can look up
Bangor, Maine. Here we go. Bangor, Maine weather. 80 degrees today with a low of 46. 81 with a low of 54. 84 with a high of 50, with a low of 57, and on Thursday 75 with a low of 53 and a few showers.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah.
What, no thunder?
We could use it. No, we could use a few showers around here right now, couldn't we?
We certainly could. It's a little warm. And Valley Springs. I'm looking for, Tuesday, 99 degrees. Wednesday, 98 degrees. Thursday, 99 degrees. And a little cooler on the weekend. Friday, 97 degrees.
97 degrees.
Yes.
Well, we thank you. I know we were trying to rush. We had a lot of stuff to cover tonight, and there's a lot of stuff we didn't even get to.
Yes.
So
tune in tomorrow night.
Tune in tomorrow night, and we'll try to get to more of it.
Yes. Good night.
Good night.